everyone, welcome to Air Cool Buds, and today we're going to be carrying on with the fuel tank, okay? So let me just show you. So you might remember from the last video just how disgusting it was in here. So what I've done is I've just literally used a sponge from the kitchen. My wife loves me when I do stuff like that, and I've just cleaned it all out. So what I'll need to do is get some rust proofer, which I have down on the floor, and just paint over all of this to stop it getting any worse. And then I'm going to leave it just like that. But you'll notice there's a big hole here. This is where the fuel tank was. So all I had to do was unscrew this, which goes through to the filler cap, and then the breather hose, and then there were 4 screws with clamps. So I just took those out, one there, one there, one there, and one there. Okay, and if we go over to the tank, here it is in all its glory. I have actually given it a wash, but you can't tell because it's dried since then. I've taken out the sender unit. What I actually found was that this tank was full, absolutely full of fuel, and the fuel gauge wasn't working. So I'm going to need to figure out why that was happening, but it looks like this is an existing problem because this is quite a new sender. So the way this works is a bit like a toilet cistern, I suppose, and as the water level lifts, this goes up, and then this here sends an electrical pulse to the speedo and to the fuel gauge, and that tells you how full the fuel gauge is. So this is a relatively new one, and I'm assuming that this has been replaced because the fuel gauge wasn't working properly. So when I was thinking that there was no fuel, there actually was. So this just fits in like this down here. Whoops. This gasket goes in between, obviously, and then there are 6 screws like this, with a little washer and a little white, another washer which is white and plastic, and then this just goes on at the right angle, and then you just unscrew. So that is really easy to take out. Right, so that's the petrol tank. You should see how much rubbish came out of it. I'll see if I can get in here and show you just how dirty it is. It just looks black. Oh no, you can see a little bit. So all of that rubbish in there was coming through into my carb through the filter. I shook it, and flakes and flakes of rusty metal came out. So to clean that out, I've got some built amber stuff. This is Deoxy. My neighbour told me about this. It's concentrated rust remover. You mix it with water and slosh it around and leave it for a few hours, or up to 24 hours I think. I'll be doing that, so hopefully I'll be filming that as well. It came with this. This is the whole fuel tank cleaning experience from Built Amber, and this is a water-based degreaser. So I'm not quite sure if I need to use that, but that's going to come in handy anyway. And just a note to you folks, this was cheaper going through the Built Amber website than any online places. So that's what I'm going to use to rust proof the inside of my tank. So this will take off any rust that is already inside there, and will stop it from rusting anymore. Then I've got some spray, just normal black spray. This is gloss black. I'm going to spray up my tank so it looks a little bit neater. And then I've got rust converter here, which I need to paint onto the bottom of the tank before I spray it black. I might do the top as well, and then I need to spray it, so I paint it onto all of these rusty patches in here. And then finally I've got a bit of a hole inside So you have the Pope's nose that fits onto the frame head, and I have checked that this is okay structurally because the bolts are still sound, but that it is letting water into the front cabin because it's gone through the front skin and the second skin behind it. So I will be using fiberglass. So I've got my fat boy, my big boy, it's a bit more PC, isn't it? Fiberglass kit, and I'll just be popping that in just to, as a short-term measure, to stop it getting any worse and to stop that water getting in. But I am going to have to do a body chassis separation at some point in the future and repair that section properly. But that's what I'm going to be doing, so tune in and watch me do it. Oh, and I've also got the new carb as well, lovely Rosol reproduction Solex carb, so this will be going in as well, and some tail lights, smoked tail lights, lovely. In fact, if you want to know, this is my to-do list that I've got to do, and I just wrote it out in order of my kind of verbal diarrhea in my head, and then I numbered it because I'm going to have to keep going back to the tank and wait for it to clean and dry and etc, etc. So the carburetor is actually going to go on at the end, but that's what I'm going to be doing, so tune in and see how it goes. Thanks folks.